Hey guys, welcome back. This is Sun.
And I'm Belle. We're here to review episode 6 of WandaVision. There are gonna be some spoilers, so just be warned.
Yes, so episode 6 starts off in the 90s, maybe 2000s. You have the Malcolm in the Middle intro, however, they reference The Incredibles, which you and I both know that's 2000s. We love The Incredibles.
Yes, we do.
So it's Halloween night, and Wanda has already plans for her and Vision to take the kids out trick-or-treating in the neighborhood, but Vision has his own agenda.
So Vision is continuing his investigation that we left off from last episode. He knows that Wanda is manipulating things, controlling things, and he's taking it on his own to really figure things out. Okay, it's time to rate. We're gonna rate it 1 out of 10 and then keep it a secret and reveal it at the end of our discussion.
Okay. So I was kind of surprised how this episode started because at the end of episode 5, if you remember, it ends with, Pietro showing up at the door. So I kind of thought that this episode would, run from that and talk about Pietro and why he's there. But this episode completely just kind of focuses on Vision and what he's looking for and what he's trying to accomplish. So Pietro's just kind of playing this cool uncle. He gets along with the boys. The boys are like looking up to him like he's an idol. And that's pretty much it.
I don't know. I think there's a little bit more to it than just that. I think that this episode is trying to kind of tell you that, he is Pietro. He is Wanda's brother, but he looks different because he's trying to save Wanda from the pain of having to remember her brother, dying and painful memories like that. So they're trying to say that's a reason why he looks like a different person.
Yeah.
But I still think that there's a reason why, why not look like some other random character? Why look like Quicksilver from the X-Men?
Yeah.
And I think there's a reason.
And we just don't know yet.
What happens to this Pietro character once he gets out of the hex? Maybe he is the X-Men's Quicksilver and he's brought into this reality.
I honestly think that there is some kind of connection, right, with Quicksilver, because there's no way that they couldn't find any other character to play Pietro, right? They could have just brought any other actor, but why Evan Peters?
Yeah.
Why? All right, let's talk about that really weird scene with Agnes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, this was definitely the turning point, kind of the trigger event of this whole episode, right? So you see Agnes, she's sitting in her car, she's dressed up as a witch.
Oh, right.
Right? And she's at the stoplight and she's just staring with this blank expression. And Vision comes and he basically flies right into her window and says, "Hey, Agnes, like, what are you doing?" And she's just staring and she's like, "I'm looking for the town square." And Vision's like, "You've lived here all your life. How come you don't know where it is?" And he does his little thing, his magic power on her. And all of a sudden she's like, "You need to stop her. Like, Wanda won't even allow us to think about leaving."
Yeah, it was a weird scene. I think that scene is supposed to show you that Agnes is not behind the whole thing. You know how the last episode I said Agnes is definitely in on it with Wanda.
Yeah.
She's not controlled by Wanda's powers. And I think this part is trying to show you that she is also a victim. But I don't think that that's true.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Because I think that Wanda has just taken over everyone and everything. And Agnes is just kind of fighting against it. She realizes what's going on, but I have a feeling that she knows a lot more than what it seems, and she's trying to fight that power that Wanda has over her.
I have a totally different idea about that. I think that Agnes is playing Vision. She's still a very suspicious character to me, and I think when Vision did the little, held her head and is trying to get her out of the manipulation of Wanda's, and she's like, "Oh, I'm actually trapped, like we can't do anything under Wanda's control." I think that's a trick, and I think that she's trying to make it look like Wanda's doing all of it on her own.
Wow.
But if you recall in the last episode, Wanda doesn't even remember creating this reality. And even in this episode, Wanda says, when she's talking to Pietro, her brother, she says that she just remembers being in so much pain after Vision's death and then being in this reality. So I think that Agnes is still a very suspicious character. She's dressed like a witch. We hear her cackle, the laughter, the witch cackle laughter for the first time. And yeah, she's not off the hook for me. I still think that she's behind it. She could be our villain.
She's playing Vision as far as like faking it.
I think she's like the true mastermind behind it.
Interesting.
She's holding the puppets and she's making it look like Wanda's a bad character. Of course, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
But that's just my read on this episode.
So that's insane. So what do you think about the kids, her boys, Billy and Tommy?
Right. Well, before we get onto this episode, I wanted to also say from last episode, episode 5, Agnes's character, when she finds the dead dog wrapped up in a blanket, and we first see her and the bush is all shaking, and then Agnes all of a sudden comes out holding a blanket.
You don't even see the dog?
You don't see the dog. I don't think the dog was in there. I thought that whole scene was so shady, and it felt like she was trying to get these boys to grow up faster or something.
Yeah, something about the boys and her relationship and her interaction.
She's in control. I don't know what, but she's a shady character. And yeah, so that moment from last episode is kind of supporting my theory on Agnes being a villain.
And so going back to the boys,
yeah.
In this episode, we start to realize that they have superpowers. So maybe she's trying to suppress that or influence that to come out sooner.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't even think about that point until you just brought it up about Agnes and their relationship and the whole dog scene. But we noticed that, Billy has this power where he could kind of hear and know what's going on from very far distance.
Right.
But then Tommy is super fast like her brother Pietro. Mm-hmm. Right? And so we know that the kids actually have some power, and that's how Billy is able to save Vision.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so Agatha could be playing upon that, knowing maybe... So if she's playing some kind of a witch character, she could see the future.
You said Agatha.
Did I? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I meant Agnes. But Agnes could be playing upon the power of the boys. I mean, if she is some kind of a witch, I'm assuming maybe she could, crystal ball, see the future, and see that she could manipulate the boys. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's a good point.
Do you think she's doing that for the boys to fight against Wanda? Or do you think Wanda and Agnes are kind of on the same team and they're just kind of growing their power, and including the boys?
I don't think Wanda I don't think she has any evil intentions. I don't think she's working with Agnes. I think Wanda is being manipulated, and Agnes saw her pain, Wanda's pain, and what she's going through, and she's kind of pinning it on her. But
interesting.
And using her powers. Like, Wanda's for sure manipulating things. She's using her powers in this world, but I think the creation of the reality was ultimately by Agnes.
That's such a crazy...
But I'm not sure. Again, I could be totally wrong. It's just my interpretation.
Now, the majority of this episode focuses on Vision, right? Trying to figure out what's going on. He's caught on to the fact that Wanda is controlling everything. And so what he does is kind of fly back out and looks down at the town, right? Mm-hmm. And he notices that the people on the outside are just frozen in time. So if it's not directly involved with Wanda's reaction with him, the kids, the family, they're just frozen. Yeah. And he runs into that one lady who's holding the ghost, and she's her tears, right? There's tears falling.
Right.
And that just shows me that these people are all in pain.
Yes.
All in pain. They don't want to be there. They're not there by will. It's by force.
Right.
And so he breaks through and tries to go through the hex, right? He goes through the barrier. And as soon as he crosses, his body starts decaying.
Yeah, because he's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
And, Sword is kind of just staring at him, not helping him. Darcy yells out, like, why don't you go help
him? Right.
But Vision's main thing is help these people. Help the town. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Right? And he just understands and knows what's going on, and he's begging Sword to go help them. Which, do you think that Sword has the interest in getting rid of Wanda, or do they actually care about the people in this town?
Well, we do know that Hayward's character, the new boss in town of the Sword, he is a sketchy character. Mm-hmm. He's had eye on Vision on his location the entire time, but kept it a secret from the team.
Yeah.
he has some kind of an ulterior motive, and he's obviously being painted as a villain, a bad guy. So I don't think that he's there to actually... He definitely is, opposed to Wanda for sure. He's kicking out Darcy, Agent Wu. Yeah, and I don't know. He could be wanting... And Monica. He could be trying to save the people, but I think that there's more to it than that.
He's more focused on Wanda and Vision.
On destroying Wanda. Yes. He wants to kill her.
So why would he be using and basically focusing on Vision? Is it because they're always together? What do you think?
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Wanda is too powerful or something for him to track, and Vision's the next, Vision is artificial intelligence. Maybe there's some way to track him.
And Sword was holding on to his body this whole time.
Yeah, so they could have
done
planted
something. Yeah, that's an interesting topic, but the ending scene was what's powerful for me because Billy notices that, his dad is in pain, something's happening, and so Wanda basically expands the hex.
Yeah.
Right? To cover and take and basically bring Vision back. If she can't bring him back physically because she's far away from him,
she's gonna expand her reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I kept thinking about at the end of this episode is, do you think that Wanda is eventually going to just take over everything, everyone?
That would be an interesting premise. I mean, I think things got a lot more interesting that she's expanding her world and now more people are going to be brought into this reality. But I don't think so because I don't think they got Hayward. I don't think they got Hayward. I think he is still out of the hex, and so he's obviously going to keep trying to oppose Wanda and stop her from, continuing this reality.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's going to take over the world. I think there's going to be a confrontation before that.
Yeah, and I agree with you, only because she's already losing control with that world that she created.
Yeah, with Vision trying to get out.
Yes. Imagine if it's even bigger. I mean, she's just going to lose it. I think we're ready to reveal our scores.
All right, let's do this.
Ready?
1, 2.
2.
Whoa. Oh, wait, a 9?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
A 7.
A 7.
Why don't you go first? Why? Yours is so much lower.
Well, this is actually higher than what I usually give.
That is true.
If you recall WandaVision episodes 1 and 2, I gave it an 8, which is the highest rating I've ever given.
Yes.
And then the rest, I gave it a 6.
Yeah.
Right? So this is my 7. I think it is... this episode got really exciting for me. First, I'll talk about the negatives.
Okay.
Because it is still not that 8, which I had from episodes 1 and 2. And the reason why is because when the show focuses on Monica, Darcy, Agent Wu, back in that, like the sword, whenever it goes back to that station, it gets boring for me. And the reason why it gets boring is because it's like they can't do anything wrong. They need to hack into the system. Darcy finds a way to do it immediately.
Wow.
There's no how though? There's no build up at all. If Agent Wu needs to, fight the officers, he does it and comes back. They need a way to get into the hex, done. So I just think it gets boring, and when it focuses on WandaVision, on that reality, then things are very exciting. I gave it a 7 because I want to know what they do with Pietro's character. I think there's more to it than this episode led you to believe. I am so excited for Agnes's character. Mm-hmm. She is I'm praying that she's some kind of a villain and that there's going to be a twist on the whole Wanda's in control of everything. She's manipulating everything, because I thought that from episodes 1 and 2, and I'd like to see a twist that maybe she wasn't as in control as we thought she was.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's a whole different perspective than mine, because my score just kept going up and up. Because if you guys remember, the first 2 episodes, I gave it a 6.
No, you gave it a 5.
Oh, a 5. Oh my gosh. So even lower. So I just keep going up and up. This show is so creative. It's smart. It's unpredictable. I love that aspect, because I thought this episode was going to focus on Pietro, and it had very little to do with Pietro, which I wasn't expecting, through a curveball. I love the relationship and dynamic between Vision and Wanda. They're breaking apart, really. They're separating. There's a huge gap between them now, because in the beginning, they were basically best friends, the happiest couple. But then now, I mean, this whole episode, you don't even see them together.
Yeah.
He chose not to be with her,
right.
which it's it's an interesting plot to begin with. And again, with Agnes as well, I want to know what's up. I want to know her story. She's hiding something. She's acting weird. We finally see her as the witch. And so I just want to know what happens next. I really like it. And I want to know if there's going to be that full battle scene I keep talking about. I always mention it. I'm waiting for a battle scene. The only complaint that I have is that Disney makes you wait a whole week before you could see the next episode.
You tricked me. Okay, well, I'm totally shocked with your 9 because, I mean, we watched it separately, and the only comment my sister gave me was that she can't believe that they made her wait a week for this, and it just, I thought you were underwhelmed, but I guess you were blown away, as always.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it secret from you.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of doing these reviews, is really knowing how we feel about it.
Right, okay, awesome. Let us know what you think of this episode. Please comment down below, and stay tuned for our coverage of WandaVision episode 7 next week. And until then, also tune into our Taco Tuesdays coming every Tuesday where we answer your questions.
Yes, follow us on Instagram at Sunbelle Studios or send us an email at sunbellestudios@gmail.com.
Are you checking those emails?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, friends, until next time.
Thanks. Bye.